News Talk 930 WLSS. You're listening to Retirement Answers with Margaret Hixon. I'm Margaret, and today we are going to be talking to Todd Scarborough. He, as we said earlier, he's a 5-time Mr. Arkansas, and we are going to be talking about what makes him as healthy as he is. Well, I was just reading his bio, and Todd, you do a lot. How did you end up getting into the health and fitness business?
It's an interesting question, and I look back, and I had this question posed to me, and I try to narrow it down to one event. And I believe that I can answer it in the fact that when I saw my first bodybuilder, I was probably a 14, 15-year-old kid, and I saw my first bodybuilder, and I thought, man, I want to look like that. So I started doing the research and started working out, and then the next thing I realized is that, yeah, it's working out on weights, and you have to work out on weight. But the human body requires nourishment, rest. And so I started doing the research on that side, and I realized, the food that I was eating, fast foods and burgers and fries, how bad it was for me. And I changed my diet when I was 15, 16 years old around that. So I would think that probably the answer to that question is that chance meeting with a bodybuilder, and I was enamored with it, and I said, man, I want that. And I realized that it's more than just the physical. It's also you have to nourish the body and do the right things there too.
Well, yeah, I was looking at your picture, obviously, of your bodybuilding pictures, and you seriously took it serious. I mean, you're in perfect shape.
Well, not bad for 50. I've been at it for 30 years now, so it's not bad for 50 years old.
Well, I just turned 50 this year, too, and I like to work out, too, but, I have found in working out, the 2 times that I've actually gone to a trainer, I've gotten hurt, and I don't know if you hear that common theme. I mean, like I said, I've done it all my life, but I decided, I needed to bump up my game, and I'm sitting here with a leg that's, been damaged because a trainer put way too much weight on myself. So what do you say to people going out there and hiring trainers?
The first thing I would look for is somebody over 40. The younger kids, sometimes I don't want to discriminate, but a lot of the time these younger kids get into it and they go to a couple of classes or seminars, and they're deemed a personal trainer, but you really need someone with some experience. I would interview that person as a personal trainer and find out what they do and how they do it. And the one thing that I see common thread with these people is that they all tend to do the same exercises with everyone. Every single person has a unique thumbprint as far as what workouts work best for them. Mm-hmm. And you have to, as a trainer, find what motivates them mentally. And so really it takes a very mature trainer to sit down with someone and find the right program and the right chemistry and magic to make this person reach their potential. So it's a great investment. It's one of the things that I tell everyone. You need a trainer to start off to help you, but make sure you find the one that's balanced, that's not going to hurt you, that takes progressive steps as opposed to these massive giant steps off the front end with exercise.
That's what they've done to me. They think I'm in great shape, which, for my age, being 50 also, I am, but those muscles do change. So, and a lot of it has to do with, I think, nutrition, and which I want to talk about with you as well. When working out, like, for the listeners listening in right now that have just tuned in, we're talking with Todd Scarborough, and Todd has over 30 years in training and health and nutrition, and we're trying to find out from Todd how we can, somebody like that's not wanting to be a bodybuilder, how they should be taking care of themselves physically and nutritionally in the brain, because it encompasses the whole thing. So what do we do about nutrition when we're, wanting to really bump up our game and working out? What should we be doing? What should we be eating?
Well, and that is something that goes back to, we know we have to have the right ratios of protein, carbs, and fats. We know we've got to get off this fad diet, the standard American diet, as it's called. And it is something, if you look at, Margaret, you look at the damages that's caused by the standard American diet when it goes across the world into into these Asian countries and other places, it wreaks havoc, the same havoc that it wreaks here. There's a great food experiment going on right now, and the American diet has made its way around the world, and following it right on its heels is heart disease, ADD, all types of problems that we have and what comes from it. So really, there's all this lip service and people that are saying that we need all of these things in healthcare and all of that. If we could solve a great majority of the health problems in this country by addressing activity and diet and going back to good, high-quality food and teaching people how to eat. We forgot. We eat for convenience, and we don't eat for health, and that's what we've got to go back to. So it's funny you mentioned that as far as bodybuilders, and we're kind of at the top of the food chain here at the apex as far as what we do to our bodies. And when I tell people what works for us will work for the average person, we're the best test dummies for this stuff that it is, that exists, because we are beating ourselves up and pushing ourselves to extremes. So what works for us works for the average person. And what works? Good, wholesome, like your grandmother used to cook you. Basically, that's what it is. Go back to good, wholesome, home-cooked meals, and we would not have the problems that we have in the fast food era, for sure.
Well, now, do you do you eat meat at all?
Oh, I eat lots of meat.
He's a bodybuilder. He's eating lots of meat.
And I know there's people that have philosophy problems with eating meat and philosophical issues, but there is no question that we are omnivores, and there is no question that we are supposed to exist off at least some animal flesh and animal protein, be it eggs or whatever source you would like. I personally believe it goes back to ratios, Margaret. That's the biggest problem we have, is we're eating these massive amounts of meat as opposed to smaller amounts. And really, if you look at the best overall for the digestive tract, it's protein and fiber, because fiber moves that protein along, and the protein gives you so much. You cut out meat in your diet, and you're missing, not only muscle tone, but the immune system. And speaking of brain, which we're going into, brain health is affected by those amino acids as well. So it's extremely important to look at what we are and be honest, no matter what you believe and how you believe about killing animals or whatever.
Yeah.
What does our intestinal tract and our teeth structure tell you?
Hey,
and when
Todd,
you look at the teeth structure and the intestinal tract, that's the case.
We need to take a quick break, so we'll be right back. I'm Margaret, and you're listening to Retirement Answers with Margaret Hixon on News Talk 930 WLSS.